busting. Many brothers I be sparking and rushing, man, like inside the dark, call me Bill Snatcher. Just a brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my sacred life.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is the time of the month where a lot of the content that we talk about here on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy, so I thank you for your support. However, if you're still here, I'm assuming you guys are all caught up with the Boruto manga and you do not care about me talking about spoilers or speculative videos that are going to be based on stuff that takes place in the manga. So with that being said, let's jump right into today's topic. And today, I think that we need to have a serious conversation about whether or not Amado is actually on the path to becoming the Obito Uchiha for the Boruto universe. And I gotta say, I absolutely think that this is something to where in this new era, just as Obito Uchiha was that character when he was first introduced in Naruto Volume 27 during the events of the Kakashi Gaiden flashback, where you got the information on how Kakashi got the Sharingan. When Obito was first introduced, nobody foresaw Obito being this big bad villain hundreds of chapters down the line. Nobody saw that at the time. And it's kind of the same thing with Amado. When Amado first got introduced into the manga, we just looked at him like, oh, this is like tech support for the car organization. It's like, oh, Delta got her body destroyed by Naruto, so Amado's gonna fix her back up. Oh, Jigen, after taking Naruto out in 2 hits in the manga, Jigen's body began to crack down, and it's like, oh, okay, Amado, fix this guy up over the next 2 days. Like, that's the guy that nobody really took seriously, and yet at the same time, Amado, very sneaky, has essentially put himself in a situation where, as I like to refer to, he's really giving off Sasuke Aizen vibes from Bleach, where everybody was looking at Aizen and saying like, oh my god, what happened to Captain Aizen? And Aizen is such a nice guy, and all the hints were there that Aizen, there was something more despicable towards him. And with Amado, we know that Amado right now is working on another cyborg that came out of nowhere that potentially is going to be a huge ally to Konoha, and this cyborg is going to have the power that's going to be able to actually compete against Code theoretically once his limiters are taken off. And there's the possibility that Amado has kind of calculated that Ada is out there, which is why he's not giving as much information as he is. And I think all that's cool. However, I think that we need to look at Amado's motives and why he joined Jigen and why he took all this information about the Otsutuski clan. I think that the motives behind why he actually did it are something that run deeper than, oh my god, Amado might be an Otsutuski, which I've even done the video speculating about that possibility. But the more I look at this guy's character, the more I'm getting Obito vibes, especially when you look at that line that was dropped in there about this guy having a daughter. And I really feel like just as Rin was that trigger point for Obito to begin that downward spiral, I think that Amado's daughter served a very similar role, and I'll explain why. It's actually not something that's too crazy to consider, because if you look at what Amado said, he said that his daughter passed away 12 years ago, and we don't know the actual circumstances behind this, but once you start going back 12 years ago in the timeline, you start getting dangerously close to the events of Naruto the Last. And there's a lot of stuff that if you've only watched the movie and you've not read the light novel for Naruto the Last, there's a little bit of information that you're actually not aware of. One thing in particular is the fact that when those chunks of the moon were breaking off and falling towards the planet, there were quite a few people who got killed during that time. Tsunade and the others who helped with evacuation in the Land of Fire. That was actually Tsunade's role during the events of Naruto the Last, was to oversee the evacuation of people throughout the Land of Fire, while Kakashi ran everything as 6 Hokage. But in other nations as well, there were other casualties that were suffered as a direct result of this. And the reason why this is so important is that once you start going back 12 years in the timeline, like I said, you start getting closer to those events of Naruto the Last, something that was an Otsutuski level crisis that was started by an Otsutuski. It's not crazy to say that Amado's daughter might have been critically injured during those meteor showers that were falling to the actual planet, and Amado, being somebody that was using science and somebody that was working on science during that time period, theoretically would have been looking for any and all ways to keep his daughter alive. If she would have passed away 12 years ago, that means that she would have been a few years older than Boruto, Naruto, give or take, depending on how old she was when those events took place and how old she was when she actually passed away. But what's interesting about this is the fact that you're also in a situation where that would explain why Amado decided to work with Jigen and learn more about the Otsutuski clan. Why is that important? Because Amado knows the story of the Otsutuski and how the Otsutuski use karma as a way to resurrect themselves. Amado is the type of person to say, wait a second, if that works for them, why can't it work for us? Which goes back to a theory that I've had for a while now, which is the fact that Orochimaru's living corpse jutsu, where Orochimaru is able to switch between body to body while not actually losing his power, but actually growing stronger with every body that he's taking. Hence why it would explain why he said, oh, I want a 13-year-old Sasuke's body who was drastically weaker than Orochimaru, but it would just be Sasuke's power added on top of his, Sasuke's Kekkei Genkai added on top of Orochimaru's own body, and etc. The fact is that if Orochimaru's living corpse jutsu could have benefits like that, the karma seal, bringing back an Otsutuski via that process, it does not make sense for you to put on a karma seal and then just come back to whatever power you had. Each time you come back, you should be coming back stronger. The fact is that Amado could be looking at that actual information and trying to actually use that as a way to bring his child back. And the fact that he's got a scientifically engineered karma seal that he's ready to actually use on Kawaki, I do believe just as Obito was willing to go to extremes to be able to fix the world that took Ren away from him, I think that you're also in a situation where you could have something very similar with Amado, to where Amado allowed himself to be taken in by grief by Jigen when Isshiki's using Jigen to speak to him, and you're in that situation where more than likely everyone's wishes will come true. That dream that Amado has might have more than likely been being in a world where his daughter was alive, and Amado would have been brought in on that infinite Tsukiyomi type of attraction. However, on the other side of that, Amado also understands, well, if I'm going to be in that cocoon, she's not really alive. Amado's a very, very calculated person, and so I do think that Amado got close to Jigen in order to learn more about the Otsutuski clan via Ishiki's knowledge, as a way to actually try and find a way to take the benefits of the karma seal without actually having to resurrect an Otsutuski. I think that that's ultimately what Amado's end game was. I think that's ultimately why Amado was using as many resources as he was when it comes to ninja tech and science, because it's a way to actually bring his daughter back to life. Because again, Amado would know, like, well, wait a second, if I help Jigen produce this god tree and this god tree ends up harvesting the planet, then I'm never going to see my daughter anyway. And if I do bring her alive, and if Jigen was able to use Ishiki's powers and say theoretically bring her back to life, or I was able to find a way to revive my daughter myself, what good is it if the planet that we're on is going to be harvested for a chakra fruit? Amado, being a father, wouldn't necessarily put his child in that actual situation right there. And the reason why that's important is that Boruto as a franchise tackles two themes I think a lot of people tend to overlook. The first theme, which is the most important theme in this discussion, is obviously fatherhood, but the other theme that's also just as important is the fact that Boruto as a franchise looks at, where does science fit in this world of ninjutsu? Can the two elements coexist, and what pains and struggles are we going to take to get to a point to where science and ninjutsu coexist with one another? If you paid attention to Naruto Boruto the movie, that's part of the reason why Naruto's saying, well, you know, the tuning exams are meant for gaining to actually show their skill. And when you look at the Shikamaru Shinden novel, as well as the Sasuke Shinden, the Teacher Star Pupil novel, Naruto and Sasuke both believe that in time, science can be used to advance ninja and help ninja break through their actual limits, but it has to be done in conjunction with actual ninjutsu training. They have to be used to help one another, to complement one another. You can't rely too heavily on one or the other. When you look at the car members and Amado, these are people that lean more so into the actual way of science, whereas Boruto's being trained by Naruto and Sasuke, as well as Kawaki being trained for the time being by Naruto, to understand that these two elements, science and ninjutsu, they have to coexist and work hand in hand with one another. So that would explain why you're in a situation where Amado plays this dangerous game of six-dimensional chess against Isshiki Otsutsuki, because he's using the benefits of working for Isshiki as a way to potentially try and bring his own child back to life, while also getting rid of and clearing the deck of Isshiki at the same time, because no father will want to bring their child back only for their child to actually be killed off, which is where the symbolism of Obito kind of comes in, because he's essentially trying, and in some ways he's actually done what Obito couldn't, which is he actually got over on the person that was manipulating him. I think that that is a really nice parallel right there. Now obviously it remains to be seen if Ishiki's permanently dead, or if, like myself and others, suspect that Ishiki's mainly using Code as a way to actually revive himself, as Code's body becomes 100% Otsutuski once Code is able to eat a chakra fruit and upgrade his DNA, because Isshiki has a karma seal on Code. That karma seal is going to go from a white karma to a full-blown karma, thereby resurrecting Isshiki. I do think that that is something that could actually happen. However, this instance with Amado right here, if that never happens, he's done what Obito couldn't. Obito, essentially, Madara was revived as an Edo Tensei, but Obito, even for all the plotting and scheming that he had, he was not able to fully outsmart Madara. Madara still casted the infinite Tsukuyomi. It wasn't Obito. It was one of those things to where, in the end, yes, Obito died a hero, but he died as somebody that got outsmarted by Madara. So I think that when you look at Amado, this is that interesting funky period right here. Is that child the reason he's doing as much as he is? Is he trying to use science, and in particular use the research done on the Otsutuski clan as a way to actually resurrect his child without actually resurrecting and Otsutuski, which kind of goes into the other thing when it comes to science in general. When you look at fiction, once you have people start dabbling in these elements trying to play God, a lot of times they've opened up Pandora's box and it ends up being all hell in the handbasket. So I want to know from you guys, what are you guys' thoughts on this idea? Let me know down in the comment section below. Do you guys think that this is something that could work to flesh out Amado's character? Let me know how you feel down in the comment section. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.